is going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. And of course, I'm Johnny.
I'm Randy.
And he is...
Senor Reyes.
Senor Reyes.
See.
And we are back for Terrifier 2.
Dos.
And I just want to say that I appreciate each and every one of you guys and gals who's been listening to our podcast. And thank you for listening to our review of Terrifier. Part 1, because...
Terrifier the one? You were going to say the one. Terrifier uno.
There you go.
Uno mas.
But we have quite a bit of views on Spotify just over that one episode. So it's showing a lot of love for the Terrifier fans, Art the Clown fans. Anyway, with that being said, we hope you liked our last episode where we celebrated Friday the 13th with Friday the 13th Part 3 in 3D.
Trace.
Yes. So, here we are. We just finished Terrifier 2. And this, of course, is Randy's first time ever seeing the film. And this is probably his...
Umpteenth.
Yeah.
5th, I think.
5th?
Maybe 6th. I don't know. Somewhere around in there. I ain't hit double digits yet.
I don't believe it.
But it's so funny. I was telling the guys, this is my 3rd time watching it, I believe. And I never noticed that Sienna had the nose ring all at the beginning of the movie.
That's one of the first things I ever noticed.
Never even noticed it. I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, as always, we hope you guys and gals are enjoying what we're putting out. And please catch us on all of our social media. It is Facebook is Small Town Horror with Johnny and Randy. Instagram is Small Town Horror Johnny _Randy. And our TikTok
Here's a tiki-taki.
is Small Town Horror Podcast. And, of course, now we have our YouTube channel, which, if you're watching it, we appreciate you guys and gals very much. And if you love listening to the audio podcast, please jump on over to YouTube and subscribe. Right now, we don't have very few subscribers, but hey, it's a work in progress. So we just started it, a month ago?
It's under construction with fans.
Yes.
So get in there, get the building, hit the like button.
Right.
Subscribe.
So you never miss an episode.
And share.
Yes.
To everybody. The button's down below.
And Randy, have we even decided if we're going to go ahead and do a out of the theater review on Nosferatu?
That comes out in next week.
It comes out on Christmas Day.
Christmas Day.
I ain't trying to go on Christmas Day.
I was going to say, ain't no way I'm going on Christmas Day.
But I can see us doing a spoiler-free episode. Don't you think?
I wouldn't mind going the weekend after or something.
There you go. And that may be our first episode of 2025, which me and Randy both have a kind of a love for the original 1920 or 1922?
22, I believe.
Nosferatu, and I'm really excited for this film. I've heard a lot of positive things about it.
Plus, Bill Skarsgård is playing a different character.
And Johnny Depp's daughter is the main actress, which I've heard and actually read that she deserves an Oscar for her performance. And, of course, we got William Dafoe that's going to be in the film, so I'm excited to see it. So far, I haven't heard a lot of spoilers or nothing like that, so that's good.
You know, I think William Dafoe would play a good Renfield.
Yeah, he's more of the Van Helsing.
I can see that, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's no Anthony Hopkins, but,
Right. But...
Anyway.
Yeah, anyway, so, Randy.
Yeah.
Man, why don't you hit us up with the summary,
But
man?
I got your summary right here. There's only one, so I ain't got nothing to pick from. Anyway. Resurrected by a sinister entity, Art the Clown returns to Miles County to terrorize a teenage girl and her younger brother on Halloween night.
Short and sweet.
Da-da-dum.
Dun-dun-dun.
Da-dum. And that's it.
All right, man, why don't you read us the cast?
So we've got Lauren Lavera is Sienna Shaw.
Amazing.
David Howard Thornton,
The man.
playing Art the Clown. Elliot Fulham is her brother Jonathan. We've got, let's see. We've got Casey Harnett plays Allie. And Samantha Scafidi is Victoria Hayes. We've got Amelia McLean plays the little pale girl, who is the little weird clown.
Mm-hmm.
We have Kaylee Hyman plays Brooke.
Small little cameo,
yeah,
man.
And we got a little cameo from the principal, the beautiful Felissa Rose.
Yes. Shout out to Felissa Rose.
And yeah, I
That should be it.
Really is, yeah.
Right on, man.
Pretty much it.
So, all right. So, Terrifier 2 come out in 2022. Is rated R and is categorized as horror slasher, and it is 2 hours and 18 minutes long.
Every bit of it.
That shows right there Randy did not like it. I'm already going to give you a heads up because when Randy makes that comment, that means Randy was bored with it and didn't like it.
No, I wasn't bored with it.
IMDb scored this a 6.1 out of a 10, and Rotten Tomatoes gave this an 86%, which really shocks me.
Yeah, they're actually pretty close.
Of course, the film was written and directed by Damien Leone, and the budget for this film was $250,000.
Big upgrade from the last one.
Yeah, and it showed, in my opinion. And the box office, it made $15.7 million. So it made its money.
Did this one ever go to theaters?
Yeah, it was like a limited release, I believe.
The first one didn't.
No, like this one was kind of like what we talked about last episode about Hatchet, where it's only limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how was it? Was it ever in theaters?
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't believe so.
Yeah, I think that was like a straight to DVD or streaming or whatever.
You would see it, like I remember seeing that when you go to Walmart or something, and they'd have that and like a double disc one, like it was like the $5 bin stuff. But who would have known? Seeing that years ago, you're like, man, a little cheap thing, and now all of a sudden it's bloom,
Blowed it up.
Right. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's not waste any time and get into it. If you watched our last YouTube channel and if you listened to our last episode, Friday the 13th, Part 3, me and Randy kind of changed it up.
We flipped the script on you.
Yeah. We did our scale first so we could really get into depth and talk because it was getting kind of hard to not give your opinion
without giving your review.
Yeah. So, with that being said, Randy, are we in agreement to do it again on this one?
Let's do it.
So, it is now time for the pulling scale.
The pulling scale?
The pulling scale.
The pulling scale.
The pulling scale.
Pulling scale.
There you go. So, you two fight it out. Who's wanting to go first?
I'll let him go first, I guess.
No. Oh, you want
I'll do it.
Okay.
He's telling us since the last time we watched the first one. He's like, I'm doing the second
I
one.
want to go first and second. Okay. So, right into it, I will recommend it. Definitely a thumbs up. Add it to your collection. And my grade on this one is an A-. Look at him. What? No, I love this one because they gave us somebody to root for in Sienna, which is awesome.
Yeah.
She is top tier final girl.
Yeah.
And this might tick some people off. I'll put her above Laurie Strode any day. I know some people, what? That's sacrilege. She can take Laurie Strode out.
They're going to end up fighting.
No. Not. Wait till you see the third one, too.
Yeah.
Is she in the third one? Sienna?
Yep.
With cutting you off real quick, you did the first review on Terrifier. This is his favorite, so he did going first. Mine's the third one, so we'll see. It's gonna. But go ahead,
Boom,
Chris.
boom, boom.
It's like a circle.
Go ahead, Carnell.
But yeah, Sienna is awesome. I think she's one of the stronger final girls we've seen in forever.
Yeah.
Probably a decade or so.
Right.
The music in this one, I forgot to mention in the last one, but it's even more pronounced in this one.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for that 80s kind of synth sound, and it fits so well in with these movies. I love it. And then, I know we got kills we can talk about and discuss. I know you got questions.
That's what I was say. Don't answer the questions yet till he does his.
Yeah. Look, I done got off track. Forgot what I was going to say. But yes, I love this one. The first time I watched it, it drug a little bit. But since I've gotten some backstory and stuff on the lore, and I'm looking for other things now, to me, it don't drag like it did the first time. Right. The first time I watched it, I was like, that could have cut 10 minutes off that clown cafe scene.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
But now that I know some stuff, it's like, okay, they had to put it in there. But yeah, definitely my favorite. If I watch 3 again, it could go back and forth, but as of right now, 2 is still my favorite.
Gotcha. You want to go next? You want me to go, buddy?
Nah, you go ahead.
Okay.
Just go down.
Okay. I've said it before. Terrifier is not my favorite franchise. I gave the first one. What did I give the first one? C plus.
I think so.
When I first watched this one, I remember I actually had to watch it twice because I fell asleep the first time I watched it. The Clown Cafe scene was a little too long for me. And then there was just scenes where I felt like they drug out. And I was like, man. And then once it started getting into the storyline of the sword and like what would you say, the mystical part of it?
Yeah,
It was weird. Like, it was kind of like...
the otherworldly.
Yeah. I was like, how did it go from being this clown slasher to now you're starting to throw some
Lord of the Rings stuff in there.
Not even close.
And
that was more Highlander.
and then the third act, of course, after the credits is when Victoria gives birth. When I seen that, I literally was like, okay, y'all, I'm done. I don't know what's going on anymore. And now that I've seen the third one, and I know that the story they're progressing, and now I understand certain things, which Chris, you'll be the one that goes into full detail here in a minute. Now watching it like tonight, when I watched it, I enjoy it more. There is still some parts, like if I was watching it by myself, and this is one that I'll actually pop in and watch, be like, I'm in the mood to watch it. But there is parts where I'll get up and go make a sandwich or something because, not a whole lot's happening.
Kind of background noise type
yeah.
of thing.
But I do enjoy the film. I give it a thumbs up. I recommend you to add it to your collection. And I'm going to give this movie, I'll give it a B+.
We ain't too far off.
No, but I'll give it a B+. And I'll tell you why. That freaking third act. When Sienna gets pissed and she starts fighting with Art, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really love Sienna, and
her eyes just get so intense.
Yes, and I will go ahead and go
after she went Highlander healing. I thought her eyes were going to start glowing.
I'll say this since I've seen the third one now, I agree with you. I think she is the strongest final girl since Sidney Prescott. Yep. Sidney Prescott's always been number one because
since Sidney, yeah,
you can't. Nobody. I mean, I love Laurie Strode, but when it comes to Laurie Strode, it's like, well, what version?
Yeah.
And that's what sucks.
You get the crazy one from the newer ones, or
yeah, where Sidney Prescott's always been the exact same. She's smart and she's always overcome any obstacle.
You say that. You might want to hold that opinion until the next one comes out.
Well, yeah.
Hopefully,
hopefully they don't
Neve
mess
Campbell is still.
But yeah, thumbs up, B+. Oh, and I love the music. The music really stuck out in this one.
Yeah.
So, go ahead, Randolph.
So, like I said in the first one, Art is the reason I wanted to watch the second one so bad. Not because of the story, because even you guys will admit the first one really had no story.
No. I told you it didn't have
no
story.
Yeah, exactly. So, all of my rating, the good side, was from Art in the first one.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how it is for the second one. And it's mainly because you guys said that once you watch the third one, some of the stuff in the second one will make sense. Mm-hmm. I shouldn't have to watch the one in the future to understand the one in the past. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. Because you're like, okay, you watch the third one after you watch the second one. Now you want to go back and watch the second one so you can understand it better. Mm-hmm. I understand that part of it. I will agree, Sienna is B.A. Billy Gunn. This chick is bad. And, again, Art, center of attention. I love the way David Howard Thornton handles that character. Yeah. Absolutely love it.
Yeah.
And it's less of how he goes about like doing the kill scenes and all this kind of stuff, but it's his expressions through the whole movie. You can, like we said in the first one, you can tell that he's had previous experience with mime work
because it really shows.
He is so silently expressive that it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the lighting or not, but I mentioned it in there. But like, I think his eyes are more pronounced in this one, so they're more expressive.
Well, he had to get a new one at the beginning of it. Yeah, just pop. I like the fact that this one had a centralized story. The fact that we had a family that it was the main focus. You had a main protagonist with Sienna, and everything centered around her.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie to you. There were times where they were talking about her dad and all this kind of stuff, and I was like, "Is her dad art? Is that where this is going?"
A lot of people said that.
That's what it seemed like it was going. And it would have been like, okay, that kind of,
They did play it good.
They really did. It did drag on for me. Like
I said, the first time I watched it, it did too.
Like, bad drag on. Like, this movie should have been an hour and 37 minutes long or something. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. The kill scenes. It was a lot on the kill scene. To the point, like, some of them drug on so much, you're like, jeez,
die!
Come on. The chick in the bedroom. That was a 25-minute kill scene that took 26 minutes for her to die. I mean, come on. That was like, all right, guys, look. There's no way this chick is still alive. She's missing half her skull. She's missing her arm. She's had her back jacked. Yeah, no, there ain't no way. To me, that was, let's just fill it 10, 15 minutes of just gore. Just put the gore in there, I could have done without it, to be honest with you. It was the roughest one out of the whole movie.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. I dug the music. I told you guys there were times that music would pop in and I'm looking for Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs because that's what it sounded like. So, my rating, I'm going to give it the same as the first one. Thumbs in the middle. If you watch the first one and you're interested in watching the third one, you might as well watch the second one. Or maybe, according to them, you need to watch the third one first and then come back and watch the second one. If you're going to collect the movies, obviously, you just, might as well put it in your collection. My rating, and because you guys know how I am with stories, having a story, and because Sienna, we had a protagonist, I don't remember what I gave the first one. I want to say it was a C plus.
Yeah,
somewhere in that area.
Pretty similar.
I thought you gave it a C minus, maybe. I think you did.
So with this one, I'm gonna go with a B minus.
Okay, so it did go up.
It did go up because they gave you a story, and because they gave you somebody to cheer for. It would have been a B, but the whole mystical side of it is throwing me off. Like,
I hear you.
Because there was only like 5 minutes of it in the whole movie, and you're like, oh, where the heck did that come from?
Thank you. I agree.
And then the chick in the nut house gives birth to a head. Like, what are we doing here?
It reminds me almost of the House of 1,000 Corpses. The House of 1,000 Corpses, Act 1 and Act 2 is all about this crazy family. And it's like a bizarre Texas Chainsaw Massacre family film. And then the third act, they send the guy and the girl down in the well thing, and all of a sudden there's zombie people living down there. Dr. Satan. It's like, where did this come from?
And the mom's acting was terrible.
Thank you.
Absolutely horrible.
Thank you.
Like she was a.
See, I was going to say she gets too much hate.
She deserves it.
Yeah, she deserves every bit of it.
So
she's a single mom trying to get by.
So B plus, A minus, and
a very low B minus. Very low B minus.
So this might be an unpopular opinion of mine, but I feel like this should have been the first one.
I'll agree with that.
You could have done that.
I will 100% agree with that.
I feel like if this was the first one, the grades would have maybe even been a little better. Just because now I will say this. Even though I do like the film, I still think it's too long. And I really think you could have made this movie even 2 hours. Shave off that 18 minutes.
Hour 45 max.
You think so?
I really do. I think you could have took a.
But I don't want to rush any of the third act.
Yeah.
But I feel like the third act was the best part of the movie.
It is.
It's supposed to be.
And exactly.
Yeah.
So I think you could have taken 20 minutes away from the first act, 25, 30 minutes away from the second act. And then you still would have gotten Sienna going straight, mystical Valkyrie.
Well, one reason I think this one was so long, too, because this one was, funded by fans. So instead of coming back later and doing, here's a director's cut, it was just here's everything.
Yeah.
Yes, I was just fixed to say, I want to say this one was funded by, and like I said, Damien Leone, I mean, he used the budget that he got and made it spectacular. I will say that.
I will say the practical effects side of it, they were really good.
And he did those, by the way, on 1 and 2.
Really? They were really good.
But like, so something real, I think would be kind of neat. We can kind of go in order if you guys want to. Let's talk about some of the scenes y'all think they could have taken out. Like, for me, leave all the art stuff in there. Like, one of my favorite scenes is the costume shop.
I love that scene.
Yeah.
I think that was phenomenal.
Yeah.
But I feel like they drug too much on, one, the mom, when she's upset about the car thing. I feel like they could have cut that down a little bit. I think they could have cut down the party scene with Sienna and her friend.
You just don't like the music.
It was heavy metal. Why would I not like the music?
I don't know if it's heavy metal.
But I think they could have trimmed that down a little bit. And, man, honestly, like, I feel they didn't have to, at the very beginning, I'm trying to think, I like where he goes and washes his clothes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the scene next when it introduces Sienna and stuff, there was just scenes where it's her and her brother talking, and they kind of repeat the same stuff over and over about, Daddy loved you, he wouldn't have went out like that. Daddy, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get it the first time, but then they would go back.
And then they wait till the third act to give you the backstory on the dad.
Yeah, like,
as far as, you know, how he died and all this kind of stuff.
Right. But like I said, I just feel like they could have trimmed the fat off of it, if you want to say it that way. Chris, you got any?
Like I said, the first time I watched it.
Oh, the Clown Cafe.
Yeah.
Sorry, there you go.
Yeah, the Clown Cafe scene. I was sitting there like, okay, what's going on? But after seeing some stuff on it, where kind of just touching on it a little bit, when she pulls that sword out of the box, that's basically her proving that she's like the chosen one.
The Sword in the Stone.
Yeah, kind of.
In the cafe?
Yes. Oh, another little fun fact before I forget. The little voice at the beginning. Welcome to the Clown Cafe. All that.
It sounded so familiar.
That's David Howard Thornton.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why it sounded familiar? Because of watching his Joker.
Yeah.
That's why it sounded familiar.
That was him. But yeah, the first time, like I said, that drug to me. But since then, and since hearing, you know, some of the things that don't really bother me anymore, the dance scene or party scene or whatever, they could have cut 2 or 3 minutes there. But I mean, that could be a couple spots throughout. Yeah, I think that's what Damien Leone said too on the second one or the third one. They basically told him like keep it under 2 hours, and it's right at 2 hours. So he's still got a bunch of footage somewhere.
It don't drag though.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for a Christmas horror movie, so that's what made me love it. Go ahead.
As far as like cutting though, like I said, the first time it did drag for me, but every time since then I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It was in there for a reason in my head anyway.
Yeah, that you had to wait 1.5 years to get.
Yeah.
What do you think, Randolph?
So for me, unpopular opinion, it could be the bedroom kill scene. Like, it just got too ridiculous at one point. It was just too. It got borderline stupid. To be honest.
The first time I watched that, like, I was sitting there like, good Lord.
I mean,
and then he leaves, and I was like, okay. And then he comes back, and I was like, good Lord.
With the salt and all this kind of stuff. Yeah, that got just. Now the end of it, when he comes out to the trick or treaters and has the mom's head with the candy, I was like, all right, that's art. That to me, that's art.
I feel like, I'm glad you mentioned that. That's another thing. They should have never shown where he's in there carving her and she's like, Mom.
Yeah.
Because when I did watch that the first time, I was like, okay.
Come on now. Let's get serious.
It's one of them too, though, like, it's supposed to be like kind of on that 80s camp side. Like, they don't want to take themselves too serious.
I ain't never watched 80s movies where somebody got destroyed. Even Victor Crowley, once he rips them in half, they done, you know.
And then, like, he like takes her hands and splits her whole hand apart.
Yeah.
But then he's got a problem with Sienna. Like, you can't rip her hand or her head apart like you did the other chick.
She's the chosen one.
Super bad.
Allie was wounded already.
She got her eyeball cut open.
That was good. And I don't know why it is, but when he's chasing her in the bedroom and he's doing this, the first time I saw it, I was like, that's creepy as hell.
He did have some really funny looking runs in this one, like chasing people, where he was just kind of hunched over and he was just doing all that. Kind of looked like Herbert the Pervert chasing somebody.
Come back here.
Yeah, but that whole scene, I'm with you guys on the Clown Cafe. Like, I'm just not. It was just like at one point it was just like, all right, this is way too long.
Have that scene, maybe a 5-minute scene tops, but then when she gets brought back down in there, when she gets stabbed at the end, they revisit it again. I was like,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
yeah.
like,
This time they're Deadites though.
yeah. So
I half expected Ash to pop up.
now, this is where Chris is gonna start rolling because he knows what I'm fixing to go into. Because you haven't mentioned it, and he won't mention it, so I'm going to mention it. I cannot stand the little brother. He is a decent actor. But I'm sorry, every scene when he gets scared, and you audio listeners ain't going to know what I'm doing, so you'll have to watch the YouTube channel. Perfect example. He walks into the house, sees his mom, with her half of her face blown off, and literally goes. Art walks in, and he just goes.
He's in shock.
Okay, so he's in shock the whole entire movie.
I mean, yeah.
And little scenes like that, I'm like, really, kid? But he ran away when his mom slapped him, but he didn't run away when Art is sitting there shoving the mashed potatoes in his mom's face.
Mama don't play.
Art
does.
Hold on, I ain't done yet. Like I said, when he's getting hurt and stuff, I thought he was good.
Yeah.
When he can play like the scared part when he's running.
Except when he got his back slashed up and he kept holding his face.
Yes. But no, he can play. I'm gonna give a kid a shout out. He can play the victim as far as getting hurt and running away scared. And he can play the sensitive side. Like when he was at the school and stuff,
yeah,
and he was talking to... he did good.
Yeah.
But then again, the freaking mom, when she walks up the steps and sees her daughter getting cut in half, you know, Art still cutting on her, this is what she does. I'm like... Why does everybody just stand there?
And then she doesn't even scream until their daughter goes, Mom.
Yes. It's like they don't run. They just literally... And, spoiler, no joke, Chris Jericho does the same thing on the third one when he sees something.
Does he really?
And I'm like, what's wrong with you guys?
I literally was sitting in the theater for Terrifier 3 and was just like...
But now, Chris, go ahead. You can defend it. But the last thing I'll say real quick is the mom.
Which mom?
Sienna's mom.
There was two we didn't like.
It was Sienna's mom. I couldn't stand when like she's talking to her and she goes, I don't even know if this is the word she says, but she tries to be so dramatic. And she's like, because I said. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When she's getting on to her. And I was like, your acting is trash. And she is so unlikable. I mean, every time she talked, F word or GD, which that's all automatically. But when she got blown in the face, I remember watching the first time and he shot her. I was like, ha! That's what you get. Like, didn't even feel sorry. But.
Apparently, I'm not on Reddit, but I guess there's a whole forum. I'm sure it's still up, where it's just people hating on her.
Well, and you can ask Randy. I got rid of our Twitter or our X account because I got so tired of all the negativity. But she deserves the hate. And like
she didn't bother me. Neither did Jonathan.
Jonathan, he won't want to admit it. The kid, when he's meeting people, that's the face he does. When they do pictures. And Chris was like, "Would you ever meet him?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, because he does do a decent job at times.
See, I think
he would be part of the collection, you know, my horror collection. But I'm just, it's that whole little.
See, I think he did a better job at the very beginning of the movie playing the inquisitive kid. talking
Yes.
about wanting to, and it looked like he was just doing research and just being like, just this strange, inquisitive
Right.
kind of kid. But then they had to pull out the horror aspect to him
Yeah.
and make him scared, and he don't play scared very well.
And when he got slashed in the face, like I said, he played a good victim. But his sister had everything on her cut, beat up. And he's getting slapped in the back with a cat of nine tails, and he's still just holding his cheek.
Sienna carried that every scene with him in it.
And Sienna, let's get on her real quick. She does a phenomenal job. Academy Award worthy performance in this one, definitely. But she made it feel like a real brother and sister.
Yeah.
When she goes over, after she whoops him with a cat of nine tails, and she gets, I think it's when she gets stabbed. I can't remember, but there's a moment where they both sit down, and she goes, I got to rest. And she looks at him, and she realizes he's been cut, and she's just shaking, and she's protecting him.
She
And
goes into mom mode almost.
Yeah.
Yes, and I want her to this day. This is the third time I've watched it. I got chills when Art's whipping him, and she crawls over there, and instead of trying to fight
Jumps on
Art,
top of him.
she's covering her brother.
Mm-hmm.
The dynamic, that's what I was fixated. When them two are together, I think the boy Jonathan and Sienna, they play off each other good, and like you said, I think the beginning and the middle is his best acting.
And see, and I think it would have been a better family aspect of it if the mom was completely out of the picture and it was her raising her brother. Like, instead of her being in high school, she was in college or something like that, and she was taking care of her brother.
Yeah, because like I said, and honestly, that's the spots where when I do go back and watch it, when her mom's up there, either I'll fast forward or I'll literally be like, I gotta go pee. You know?
Some of the stuff, like, I would never talk to my kids the way she talks to hers.
Yeah.
But it's funny because, like, you know, when she almost burned the house down, and he's just chilling on the steps back here, and it's like, go to bed.
Yeah.
I still gotta go. What did I say?
Yeah.
I was
You
just
got
like,
school in the morning.
Yeah.
I still gotta go to school.
it's like that's a pissed off mom.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Randy. Do you got anything you want to say?
But no, that's as far as the kid goes. I'll agree. I agree with you on the acting scared side of it, but I don't know if I'm gonna go as far as as his acting or whatever, because at the very beginning of it and when he was doing like the softer sides of it, I thought he did a really good job.
He did.
And I can't give you an ill word about Sienna's acting in any other movie.
Let's talk about Felicity Rose. What's going
on?
She kills me, man.
I literally, the way she come in there so expressive, I have to expected her to just go up to the
Yeah.
and just do the
The face.
face.
Go ahead, Chris.
When I had Heather watch this one, you know, a couple of years ago,
Yeah.
as soon as she popped up, I was like, "Hey, that's who my brother's met a few times." I finally got her to watch Sleep Lady Camp, by the way.
Yeah, I just think it's cool. Who would have thought? And yes, I'm boasting, so y'all can laugh at me all you want. But who would have thought that me, my wife, and daughter has actually become friends with Felicity Rose and with Dave Sheridan, a.k.a. Doofy, off of Scary Movie.
I think
Like, literally, we've ran into them 5 times in the last 2 years, and every time we meet them, she cries, gives us all a hug. We had custom made T-shirts for her and us. And when he saw my daughters just a month ago, as soon as he saw Jenny and Jody, he was like, "You guys dyed your hair." Like he remembered that stuff, and that's where I'm like,
I think we're gonna start a fine system every time we come up against an actor and actress that Johnny's met, and he's got to get fined for it.
oh man,
We'll have a big old box of quarters.
Little things like that too is like stuff that they're gonna remember. Like,
Yeah.
you know, we met him once here. You know, cool. We got an autograph. But like when he like, "Hey, y'all did this or did that," that's gonna stick with them.
oh yeah.
So that's cool.
I've got a video of Dave Sheridan in his full Doofy outfit, walking beside one of the girls, because that's the weekend we lost the dog, and he's telling her, "Hey, everything's gonna be all right. Life goes on. I know you're hurt," and I'm like, she's getting advice. And if y'all could see it, I don't know if you can, but right there is the picture of me and my daughters with Felicity Rose and Dave Sheridan. I know the audio listeners are like, we can't see it. Go to YouTube, you'll see it. But
While you're there, subscribe.
yeah. But all right, Randy, I'm shut my mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You got any questions? Let him answer you.
I do. I have questions.
I'll answer to the best of my ability.
Just don't go into part 3.
I can't say some stuff probably.
All right. So in the first movie, Art shoots himself, and he comes back to life.
Mm-hmm.
Where is, where's the channeling? Where is the Michael Myers part?
Okay.
4 or 5, where they got the cult.
That was 6.
That was 6.
Or yeah.
So
5 and 6.
Like, okay, where is the?
Please don't compare him to Michael Myers.
Where is the pallbearer and the urn bringing him to life?
Okay. At the end when he kills himself, he's human in the first one. Offs himself. When the lights and all that start flickering and the phone's ringing and all that stuff and you're hearing stuff, that's when he gets brought back.
So electricity. So he's Frankenstein's monster.
That's what leads us into part 2. Okay? And then you see how that started out. And when he gets to the laundromat, he sees the little pale girl.
Mm-hmm.
She's the entity that brought him back. She healed him. Like, when she touches his eye and he goes, and all that. And you notice when he puts his clothes on, he's ready to roll.
Yeah.
The hole in the back of his head, she healed him.
He never once got an eye. Remember, he took it out of that one guy?
Yeah, but then he took it back out,
Yeah, she healed him.
So his
She
first
brought him
victim
back.
was his dark passenger.
Yeah, kind of. That little girl that showed the newspaper clipping, that's the little pale girl.
Yep.
And from everything I've seen and listened to on YouTube and stuff, you remember the woman with the little baby doll in the first one?
Yep.
Supposedly, that's her mama. That's Emily, the one that basically drove her crazy because she lost her kid. So they tied it back to that. And remember in the third act when they're sitting there like, why is he out here? The Terrifier, like, didn't somebody die a year or so ago? As her.
Okay. So what's up with giving birth to the head?
Little pale girl walked off with it. You see her eyes glowing?
Mm-hmm.
She went basically from the little pale girl. She possessed Victoria.
Because Victoria's eyes was going.
Yeah. And then she gave birth, basically just resurrecting Art. And you'll see where that goes. Almost immediately
now,
in the third.
Real quick, and this isn't a spoiler, like it ain't gonna. Well, it's not gonna ruin anything. That's it for the pale girl.
She's gone.
She went into Victoria.
So now Victoria is the pale girl.
She was
entity.
yeah. She basically was, because you notice not everybody could see her. It was just Art and the Shaws. Well, Jonathan and Sienna. Nobody else could see her. So yeah, she went into Victoria and possessed her.
See, and it's situations like this where I begin to have a new appreciation for Michael Myers because you don't know why.
And that's one thing too. Like he was talking about defending stuff a while ago. Like how many horror franchises build a story over multiple movies instead of just like, here's your killer, there's your hero, go.
But like you guys said, both of you.
Yeah, you gotta watch.
Here's your story,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not gonna understand it until you watch the next one. So like that's where I come in. I'm like, all right, that to me that makes no sense. I guess for me, I'm so used to a story developing between the first, second, third, however many you want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But the story develops; it doesn't backtrack. I mean, yes, you can get a third or a fourth movie that's a prequel. That's different.
I sort of feel like Damien Leone is a Quentin Tarantino of horror film. Like how this one started off, and Chris was like, "Hey, do you notice?"
Was he in it? David Leone? Was he in this?
No,
movie?
no.
Okay, he ain't Quentin Tarantino. He's in every single movie he made.
He wouldn't. When he was sitting there making all the tools, and Chris said, "Hey, does that look familiar?"
Yeah, I remember that from the first one.
That's what I'm saying. That's where I feel like, because Quentin Tarantino's movies hardly ever go in order. It's like third act, second act, first act.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes the little girl was creepy, just like Art.
Yeah.
When she's sitting in that van, and her eyes are glowing.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And it's like a dark.
Yeah.
You know how he came up with the idea for the little pale girl? After the first one, he said women started cosplaying as Art. So he figured, I'm going to take advantage of this before it takes off and somebody else does it.
Yeah.
So he came up with Little Pale Girl.
That makes sense. That's smart.
Yeah. And he put out a tweet or something shortly after, I think, the third one hit theaters. Because somebody was online, of course, arguing what's new. but Terrifier has no plot, blah blah blah. And somebody was defending it and was like, give him time. What do the kids say? Let him cook.
Mm-hmm.
And he commented and said, by the time we're done, I promise you, you're going to enjoy the story. And when I watch something like this, even though I watched 2 and had to wait, a couple of years for 3, I liked it enough to where, like, as soon as I get done watching something, I'll go to YouTube and, like, ending explained, story explained. I'll deep dive on, like, the lore and stuff.
Yeah.
If it keeps my attention like that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
See, and I'm just the opposite.
You want it right there in the
I want to be able to watch the movie, whether or not I have to watch it multiple times. Shutter Island, one of my favorite Leonardo DiCaprio movies. That's one of those movies where you can catch the first time through, but then you can go back and watch it again after you've watched it all and be like, okay, that makes sense now. That makes sense. But it's all within the same movie.
Like you're picking up stuff that
you didn't
pick
pick up before.
So, do you feel like if you went back and watched this one, now when the little girl's there, because that's the thing is, that's the first time he ever sees her.
Mm-hmm.
And because he doesn't look at her and like smiles, he looks at her and kind of is like, what is going on? And then when she waves, that's when he's like,
yeah.
He's tipping around her at first, like,
what's going on?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. I feel like if you went back and watch it now, when she does touch and do this, you'll be like, okay. Like,
but see, here's the thing though. That wasn't expressed in the movie.
It wasn't explained at all in this one.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. I had to have that explained to me third party.
Mm-hmm.
That had to be like, okay, this is the explanation for this. There wasn't anything in the movie that picked up on that until the chick gave birth at the end. If you picked on the subtle hints, and it's mainly just the eye and the little pale girl walking away with the head, that is a hint in and of itself. Like, hey, little pale girl went into Victoria, and now the head is. And
because they made the comment when Jericho's sitting there talking to the nurse or whoever she is. When she talks about Victoria, he goes, how is she? And she goes, surprisingly very cooperative and quiet. That's what I'm saying. It changed that quick.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like you, and I really am. The first time I watched it, I was like, I enjoyed it better than the first one, man, but I'm not seeing the hype.
Right.
And then, I heard the third one was coming out, and this is before we found out it was any teaser trailers. It was just like, a third one's coming out, and I was like, all right, I'll give it another shot, and I'll watch it.
I am interested to see the third one. And
I do 100% think you'll dig the third one. I think it's going to be...
it's better paced.
It's going to be the opposite of your Halloween thing, where you were like, Halloween 18 was the best, Kills was good, End was your least favorite. I think it's going to be 1 is the worst, 2 got better, 3
was the best. The exact opposite of the way most trilogies are.
Yeah.
and
like I
what's
said,
crazy? I thought at the very beginning of it, the way they were going with the kid, I thought they were going to pull the Halloween Ends, and the kid was going to start dressing up like Art, and then like be like a protege to Art at first. So
does that help you any? What Chris was saying? I mean, I'm not saying to raise your grade. I'm just saying
it
like,
explains it. It 100% explains it.
And see now, and like I said, this isn't a spoiler, but when you get in the third one, now they're going to start saying, well, let's dive a little bit into the dad.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I like the fact that he's got it spread out. Mm-hmm. I just feel like we said on the last episode, the first one was like a trial run. I really thought part 2 should be first Terrifier.
Yeah.
Take aspects of the first one.
Yeah.
And keep it in, but
take some of the scenes from the first one and get rid of the bedroom scene and then the circus cafe or the clown cafe or whatever it was. Get those out of there.
Honestly, take the entire beginning of the first one, even with the whole, leave the hacksaw, but die down the second girl, the one that was put up a fight and he shot her and killed her.
Yeah.
Shorten that scene down a whole lot and cut out the kill scene with the janitor and then throw Victoria in there, because Victoria's chase scene was too long in the first one.
Oh, yeah.
I think if you could add that aspect to it, and then, it's almost like what everybody's saying. The perfect movie would have been Halloween, and Kills and Ends in one movie would have been perfect. Mm-hmm. Take all of Kills and keep it that way, and leave the last fight scene in Ends, and everybody says they'd have been happy.
Yeah.
But
I can see that.
well, before we sign off, you guys got anything else you want to say? Ask any questions about it, or
I think you're going to. I think the third one will probably be your favorite too.
Did I hurt your feelings on this one?
No. No, I figured, like I said, the first time I watched it, certain parts of it I thought drug a little bit, but since then it doesn't. But I think the third one you're going to like a little more because it is a little shorter.
Mm-hmm.
It's right at 2 hours, give or take a couple minutes.
I'm all about a long movie.
Yeah.
A lot of the movies that I absolutely love are 2.5, 3 hour movies.
By the way, that's coming back to theaters for a Christmas release.
Is it really?
Yeah. And what was it? There's something else. Dadgummit.
Sorry.
I know. You cut me off and forget again.
Dang it.
But yeah, that one I think you'll probably dig. Oh, I know what I was gonna say. With these two, it's like each movie. This ticks some people off, but like I said, it just intrigues me because it's like, well, now I want to see the next one. Damien Leone, so far with the 3 movies, he'll answer a couple little things, but he always leaves you with more questions than answers.
So they're gonna do a 4th one?
Yeah, he announced that like the weekend
Did he?
3 premiered. He said he's wanting to do 4. If he has to stretch it to 5, he will. But he's wanting to, from what he said online, he's wanting to try and wrap it in 4, but he don't want to rush it.
You know, I could have seen this being like a Netflix series over a movie, like an actual TV show series.
Yeah.
Maybe Showtime or something.
but
Speaking of Showtime, Dexter coming out.
Yeah.
Actually, it already came out.
I think so. It already came out, buddy. But with that being said, I think this was a great episode. I like the fact that, you know, you had the same opinion, honestly, that me and him did. Because, honestly, I would have been surprised if you'd have come out and been like, oh, dude, that was great. That was because I'd be like, wait a minute, really? Like, this didn't bother you? Or, you know?
Right.
But, no, man, like I said, I 100% understand where you're coming from on some things. But, yeah, the third one to me is just more fast-paced and more fun.
Yeah.
I mean, in my opinion. But
yeah. And 2 and 3, like I said, can interswitch. I think I like this one just a hair more, but I may watch 3 again and be like, okay, yeah, that one's my favorite.
And this is going to sound really funny, but that's like one of my favorite movies is Freddy vs. Jason. And I've read and watched so many documentaries about like what went on in that movie. And somebody said like they read scripts after scripts, and it was just like, dude, this is going to be like a 2.5 hour movie. And finally somebody said, no. The guys that actually did Freddy vs. Jason said, let's make this an hour and 20, hour and 30 minute max. Just give the people what they want and call it a day. That's what we need. There's no reason to stretch it out.
Yeah.
All that poster needs to be is Freddy on one side, a big V in the middle. That's what I like. Keep it simple.
Let them go out through the whole movie.
Yeah, keep it simple. And I do, like I said, feel like this one should have been an hour and 40, like you said, hour and 45 minutes. I could see it being 2 hours.
Yeah.
Shaving that 18 minutes off. Because honestly, 18 minutes is a long time in a movie.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think that would have made it better. But, I don't know. I think it's going to be one of these films, like, as the years go on, once the whole entire story is told, then I think it'll be where you go back and watch them. Maybe not you, but just go back and watch them. You're like, I know where that's going. Like, you know, so.
Yeah.
You'll get more appreciation over time.
Yeah. All right, so with that being said, we want to thank you guys and gals for tuning in to another episode. And our next episode will be Terrifier 3.
Trace.
Yes. So can't wait to talk about that one.
You'll have to switch out your mask. For the
I've
third
already
one.
got it planned, boy. So, as always, God bless each and every one of you, and remember to stay scared.
Stay spooky.